All right, okay, all right. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a weekly track roundup. My thoughts, my feelings, my vibes on a bunch of tracks that have dropped this past week. Whether I loved them or hated them or fell somewhere in between, they are all linked down below, so you can check them out for yourself. And yeah, that is it. Let's get straight into it. Also down below, our Turntable Lab link. If you use that to get some extra, that's not the word I want to use. If you use that to get some vinyl, some turntable stuff, some all of that, we get kickback from it. Supports the channel, supports everything we do. That would be great. Also, our Patreon page. You can go over there and get some extra bonus monthly content. Patreon only lets argues, classic album live streams, access to our Discord community too for a small monthly fee. Again, supports us and everything we do. Appreciate it. And also, hey, yeah, got that new screenshot in there for the Fantano Shorts page, which is well over 100K subscribers at this point. Thank you very much for supporting the wonderful and sexy and amazing Shorts page. Hit that up, subscribe today so you get all that cool Shorts content that we do. All right, worst tracks of the week. We have a couple. We have a few. They are as follows. We have one from the Rolling Stones, their upcoming album, first single, Angry. And yeah, it's got some cheesy, hard rockin' riffs, and Mick Jagger sounds pretty annoying on it. They're really not at their sharpest, are they? All right, let's move on from there. We have this new one from Busta Rhymes and Coi Leray, and vocally with them kind of just sounding so different on the track, not just stylistically, but also in terms of like recording and the production being of like a very poor sound quality. It sounds like they were just like collabing literally over a phone call and doing it pretty impressively for a phone call. But like, you know, in general, as far as like song collabs go, no, it's actually kind of weird and unlistenable. All right, moving on. The tracks that I was not crazy about, but hey, I'm shouting them out because you might like them more than me. They are as follows. We have a new one from Tinashe and or Tinashe. And is the title. Listen, it's got some sexy, sweet vocals. It's got an interesting instrumental. It's a vibe. There's not a whole lot of progression to it, though. However, other tracks I've heard from this new record sound great, and it's a part of a new little mini album that is out now. So make sure to spin that if you like your R&B sensual, spacey, and you know, a little left field. All right, moving on from there, we have a new one from Shabazz Palace's Little Tracy in the mix, who I guess is Palissy or Lazaro's son. I did not know that. Interesting and cool connection. Awesome that they are collabing on this one. Love the strange enveloping bass and effects on this track. It's really psychedelic. It is very otherworldly. It is very surreal. The song itself is not necessarily like, you know, blowing me away or standing out to me, but it is still a, you know, an interestingly produced track. I'll say that. Woke Up in a Dream. We have a new one from Killer Mike, who is coming out with a deluxe edition of his latest full-length LP. We have an extra here featuring T.I. and Jock and J.I.D. Jid. And yeah, you know, this track has some really good features on it. You know, I think it is a bit of a slow jam, bit of a slow burner that gets a little tedious after a while. But, you know, again, the T.I. and J.I.D. placements are pretty great. We have a new one from Metric, whose forthcoming record, Formentera, is on its way. We have kind of another sparkling synthy ballad on this one. Who Would You Be For Me? Again, not bad, but not blowing me away generally by Metric standards, or even by the standard of you know, a lot of the poppier, dancier cuts from, you know, the original Formentera record. All right, and we have Imperial Triumphant covering a Rush song, Jacob's Ladder, and you know, look, I'll say this. It's better than the recent cover they did of Radiohead's Paranoid Android, which came out like a total mess. I think with Rush being more of like a prog band, there was more for Imperial Triumphant, one of the strangest and most abrasive and frankly jazzy avant-garde metal acts out there currently. There was more for them, I think, stylistically to kind of effectively map over onto, in terms of like common ground. That's not to say it's not a strange experience, though. It most definitely is. There were some moments where I was like, especially with the vocals, was kind of like scratching my head. I'm like, I don't know if this works in the context of a Rush cover, but some of the changes and some of the drum playing and the guitar work are really impressive on this very strange and very abrasive and aggressive cover. All right, moving on from there, CHVRCHES are coming out with the 10-year anniversary edition of their debut album very soon. We're getting more teasers like from the extras on the project. This one over here is for the track Talking in My Sleep. Yeah, it doesn't really hold a candle to a lot of the core album stuff, but still an interesting listen all the same, especially if you're into a lot of modern synth pop and stuff like that. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, Bongos. Look, it's got a high energy beat. I love some of the trades that Meg and Cardi have on the track, but it's no WAP. It is no WAP. Bong, 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 bong. There's some fun elements to the track. It's just not nearly as catchy. It's not nearly as anthemic. It's not nearly as memorable, but I do think this, will be going off at some parties, especially some dance parties in the coming months. It's just a bit of a shame that this didn't drop way earlier, like over the summer, where I think it would have been given a little bit more life. As we go into Halloween season, I don't know if Bongos is like the vibe everyone's trying to hop onto, but, still, it's not a bad track by any means. All right, moving on from there, we have the best tracks of the week, quite a few of those, so let's get through them. We have a new one from Tyler Childers over here, who also has a very new and short little album out with a handful of cuts off of it. This one over here that I want to point you guys to is Rustin in the Rain. It is a great country ballad with some, interesting kind of lover boy, make me of use sort of lyrics on the track. I'm liking it a lot. The performance is great. Writing is solid. Digging on it. All right, we have Tkay Maidza, who's come through with another banger, I think a lot better than that Ring-a-Ling track that dropped not too long ago. Check out that one. That is a link down below. Some insane vocals and production on that one. We also have a track over here from Slauson Malone. New Joy is the title of this one. I continue to struggle to describe what it is Slauson Malone does. I mean, I think he's one of the most interesting producers/songwriters out there currently, because genre-wise, what he is putting out there currently, truly, defies categorization, but yet still also sounds incredible and is accessible and fun to listen to. It's not like it's, difficult to categorize because it's so weird and you don't understand it. It's actually very enjoyable, fun, underground, homespun, music with a lot of melody and a lot of character. It's just a little all over the place in an impressively creative way, and I will say that again. Name of the track, New Joy. All right, moving on from there. Sampha, giving us the second taste of the upcoming album. This one's got a dry, crisp little beat on it, but the chord progression and the vocals and song are absolutely killer. A bit more of an upbeat number from the last single, and I'm liking the versatility we're hearing so far, the range from these two tracks. Definitely one of my most anticipated albums currently, this new Sampha record, and the amazing singing and quality songwriting on this track are the reason why. All right, moving on from there, we have Haru Nemuri, who's come through with a new track, a new EP on The Way I Refuse is the name of this one. And, it's some really nice kind of progressive post-hardcore with some great riffs and some incredible scream vocal passages as well on the track. Absolutely killer, absolutely thrilling and exciting, and visceral too. One of the best rock acts to come out of Japan currently. All right, we also have this new track from Guppy, who are getting quite hilarious on this track over here titled Driving and Texting, or is it Texting and Driving? It's Texting and Driving, I imagine, yeah. Like it says on the cover, Anthony, you're a dummy. But yeah, it's a nice, groovy, almost post-punky kind of track with a lot of funny, tongue-in-cheek lyrics about, of course, texting and driving. And it's, just like a funny and satirical, but also incredibly catchy too. Good performance as well. Liking it, digging it, loving it. All right, moving on from there. One of the best, if not the best, hardcore punk act out there currently. Soul Glow has a brand new single out, Shut the Fuck Up If I Speak. The viciousness, the commentary, the speed, the tightness, the ferociousness, everything that has made Soul Glow a force to be reckoned with up until this point, showcased on this track, this absolutely kick-ass track. Make sure you give it a spin. All right, we have one of my favorite bands out there currently, who just came out with one of the best records of the year, 3D Country. That would be Geese. They have an additional little EP of extras coming out very soon titled 4D Country. Our first taste of it is Jesse. It's a great song. And every time I show this band to people who are not familiar with them, they walk away impressed. These guys are not dad rock. These guys are, you don't have a dad rock because, again, he left the house to go get milk and he never came back. All right, moving on from there. We have Flyana Boss. If you guys are on TikTok and you follow any hip hop on TikTok, you've most likely heard this You Wish track, which is one of the biggest bangers of the year and has gone super viral. It's incredibly catchy, incredibly fun. And they have a remix of the song now with some incredible stars on it, Kaliii, of Area Codes fame, and also Missy fucking Elliott. Amazing, incredible, wonderful. What more could you want? And, great chemistry all around between all four of them. Really cool and fun to get this remix. All right, next we have one of the biggest voices in hip-hop that's popping off on TikTok, been popping off on TikTok and beyond, Flo Milli has a new track out titled Chocolate Rain, and I'm liking this one a lot. The production is insane. This is handily one of the weirdest beats I've ever heard on any Flo Milli song, and Flo Milli vocally just shines on it. I think she has a voice that is complemented by weirder and more eccentric production because it's so youthful, it's so exuberant, it's so bold, and it's so bright. It kind of cuts through whatever weirdness the beat may be throwing at it. Whenever I hear her on a kind of generic instrumental, I always feel like it's kind of like a bit of a missed opportunity to just kind of put her on something more interesting. This track is doing that. No, it's not a Tay Zonde reference, and it absolutely kicks ass. All right, moving on from there. Evian Christ, a name I haven't had to think about in years. Producer Evian Christ, who again, I haven't really heard much from. Maybe they've still been dropping music. I haven't really heard too much from Evian Christ since like since the Cloud Rap era. Which, I mean, that stuff back then that Evian originally broke through on, was like, really cool and interesting stuff, as is this new track over here as well. It's, got elements of like, early 2010s beat music, but it's also kind of deconstructed. It's got some industrial elements to it too that are really cool. And the name of the track is On Embers, which is fitting because it's fire. All right, a couple more. We have a new one from Code Orange. Mirror is the name of the latest teaser from this upcoming album. And it's kind of a bit of an angsty, slower ballad type track from the band with some trip hoppy beat loops hanging in the background. Really different for them, but I think pulled off well and continues to showcase their ever widening versatility. And finally, shout out to Chris Stapleton. Goddamn. This track over here, I Think I'm in Love with You, is one of the most beautifully sung tracks I've heard all year, which is no surprise considering Chris Stapleton is one of the best contemporary voices in country right now, at least top three, if not number one. His range, his vocals, his presence, his everything, and his performance on this particular track is absolutely killer. Will rock you, will melt you, will destroy you. Listen to the fucking track. All right, and that is pretty much what I wanted to push to you guys today. Weekly track roundup done and finished. Links down below. As I said, thank you very much. Hit that Patreon page, hit that YouTube Shorts page, hit that TTL link. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you. Mwah. Weekly track roundup forever.